Okay, Jan and Tammo, this is Will and Laura, and it's December 15th. So we're going to give you a little rundown on the our thoughts on the FIMP Central ISII online database. This, what you're looking at right now, is the conceptual view of what we want. You'll notice that in the middle there is the ISII as the calibrator of FIMP scores, and then feeding into that are all the projects, as well as up in the upper left-hand corner it says Zintz. He's our data analyst who will also be inputting and analyzing. And then just above that central box is the ISII FIMP team. So this is essentially what the website is conceptually. Now we're going to move over and show you we want you to use your expertise to come up with what you think this should all look like. So the opening page, we just had the idea of having the FIMP Central little marker with the projects hanging down off of it, and then below that are the rels for the last, or for the most recent 12 months. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see. So the rels for the past 12 months, and then after 12 months of rels, then they would automatically, the last one would get rolled off and archived, so that it always shows the last 12 months. Yes. So this is the opening page. This would be equivalent to the matrix in the regular, or the database we've been using. So the first thing, there are two primary functions in this database. One is to get the FIMP team members and leaders to input their data, and then the other function is for ISII and perhaps other people to go in to analyze and review the data. So we're going to start by showing how a FIMP team member would enter the website to input their data.
Right. So maybe we can say that if we go back to the concept, that every project has a FIMP leader and they have FIMP team members. And so, as Will said, there are two functions. One is that there's the input of data, and it would be used by the different projects. The second function is to be able to monitor the data that's there. So if we look at that first function and we go back, and then we talk about maybe what the FIMP leader would do.
Okay, so then let's say the FIMP leader is going to upload a FIMP spot, and let's say it's the leader of the Netherlands project. So they would click on the Netherlands, and then that would somehow enable them to upload their video. So then they upload and name the FIMP spot. We can get into details, but we were talking about naming using the project, the date, and the topic. We'll get you the details on that, but basically it's going to be introduced like IE, TE, ID, TD. That stands for introducing encouragement, troubleshooting encouragement, introducing discipline, troubleshooting discipline, and then there may be some other ones as well. So they will name the FIMP spots with the project date and type, and then then an automatic email will go out to all the that project's FIMP team members announcing that a FIMP spot has been uploaded. At that point, FIMP team members, the leader or the other members, would watch the FIMP spot, and then they would be given a link to this page, where this is the video rating form, which shows the therapist and the topics and so forth. I guess it'll be the FIMP spot.
Right, so it'd be the identification for that FIMP spot.
Right, the identification for that FIMP spot, and then it'll start out with these various sections for knowledge, structure, teaching, process, overall, trying to get the focus here, and comments. Hope you can read these. And so they would input their data.
Right, so there's that combination of a score, so it would be a 9-point scale. They would select 1 through 9, and then they would input their text.
Okay, so they will do their score and their text. And then, now...
So maybe that's enough to talk about that side of it. I think that's where we were saying that really it'll be their creativity to decide how that would actually look. I think we've done a little bit more work talking about the other part of the system, which is monitoring, because that's maybe the primary function. We need to have data, but the primary function is really to monitor. So maybe we could go back.
Okay, so then for the monitoring segment, this would be, let's say, Laura at ISII. So she goes back to the home page. Also, on that auto email that goes out announcing the FIMP spot, it would also include a link to take them to the home page. Okay, so here Laura goes back to the home page, and let's say that she wants to see how the Netherlands are doing in terms of their FIMPing. So she clicks on the Netherlands, and then I have another little mock-up here. So she clicks on the Netherlands, and then that takes her down to, okay, Laura, you take over here.
Right, so let's say so the first thing is back on that main page, I can look at a glance to see which of the projects have done reliabilities. And just as you said, Will, so I click on December, let's say I click on the Netherlands, and that takes me over here. So I've clicked the Netherlands, and then I have the list of their reliabilities. So let's say I'm interested in what happened in December of this year.
Okay.
So I click on December 09,
Okay.
and then that takes me to the overview of the scores. So it's all of the FIMP team members and their scores. And I think we can talk a little bit later about the intercoder coefficient.
Okay, that's the last column on the right, the intercoder coefficient.
So this gives me an at a glance list of their scores. Now let's say that I'm interested in finding out what they wrote, how they justified their scores. So I would click on text.
Okay, and then when she clicks on text, it would take her to the actual comments that all the FIMP team members made. So, you know, in this case it shows Laura, it shows knowledge and then her score. She gave that one a 2, and then her comments, and then her comments on the comments and score for structure, teaching, process, overall. And then it moves right into the next person. So now it's Margaret, and then her score for knowledge and her comments, score for structure and comments and so forth, all the way down. And then Marion and her comments and scores, and other team members' comments and scores.
And those are coming directly from where the data were input on this page,
right,
back in the data entry. Now, it's a little bit different. There's a slight disconnect because you'll notice we're talking about the Netherlands FIMP team, and then the text example we showed you is of the ISII FIMP team. So what we would normally see is if we clicked on text, we'd see the text for Ger, Ella, Ellen, and so on.
Right. Yeah, so we're mixing this, but we just have such confidence in you that we know that you're going to figure out what we're talking about, even if we don't get it right when we describe it. Now, we only have about 30 seconds to go here.
Okay, so maybe we can say back here where also I can click on that page and I can click the FIMP team, and that will give me a list of...
Click on, so
I could go back here.
So she's going to go back to, so from Netherlands down to the
FIMP team.
the FIMP team there, and then when she clicks the FIMP team for the Netherlands project, then it takes us to the leader, the team members, and their contact info and so forth. Is that enough for now?
Yeah, you guys with us?
Okay, so we'll talk to you about this Thursday morning, but we're trying to figure the easiest way to explain what we're talking about. So I got to keep this under 10 minutes, and I'm about there. So goodbye, and we will talk with you Thursday morning.
Hope this helps.
Okay.
Bye-bye.